In this video, I'm going to make my first stamped belt using a diamond with a starburst in it. The stamp comes from Barry King, and it's a really nice stamp, and I like it a lot, and we'll see what happens. So this video was an afterthought. I'd already started the belt. I cut my border and scribed me a line down the middle to line the diamonds up with. Looks like my cameraman has not got a very good angle. My fingers are in the way for most of it, but maybe you'll get the gist of it. Now that the middle line is done, I will start working on either side. I'll do one side at a time and go back the other way. Kind of got out of frame there for a little bit, more fingers in the way, but hopefully it'll be okay for you. Got to check real quick to see what border I'm going to use to see if I need to try to squeeze another diamond in there or not. How wide a border, it depends. Gonna flip the belt and start the other way. Need to do another quick check with another border stamp just to see if I want to try to squeeze another diamond in the edge on each side. Just trying to determine how nasty it'll look if I don't. Decided to squeeze another diamond in between where I stopped and the border. I'm gonna have to lean the tool back to be able to not go across the border with the diamond. let it starting to dry a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and dampen it some more so the impressions look better. Give me just a minute to get that done. Yep, that sound means that I went over the edge a little bit. All right, finished with the diamond tool, and now I'm going to go and get started on the border. Just checking to see if there's any issues that I really need to make repairs on or fix while I'm still working on it. Got my border stamp picked out. I'm gonna go up one side and down the other. Got to stop every once in a while and let my hand rest for a second. Get a cramp holding that tool. All right, gonna rest my hand a minute, flip it over, wet it down a little bit more, and get back to going at the border. I wet the complete thing from one end to the other. That way, in case it doesn't dry right and leaves a stain looking area, this way it's all wet and it all dries the same. All right, that's done. I believe I'll be good. Let my hands rest a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. I decided to stop it right there at the end. That way the belt holes won't be in the pattern, but I think I might go ahead and extend it all the way to the very end of the belt. So I started this belt and decided to do a video after I already started it. But anyway, I lined the back of it with packing tape. I actually did 2 layers of packing tape on it before I started doing any stamping and stuff. Just wanted to make sure that that was understood before I started. I'm going to give it a good coat of olive oil now to help. It'll darken the leather just a little bit and help it stand out. It helps the leather. Can't forget to oil the belt keeper too. I decided I'm going to dye the border with fiebings dark brown pro dye. I think it'll make it look good. Just a personal preference, I guess. Going to do the outside. It'll probably take 3 coats to get it all even and in the darkness that I want. Decided to cut a bunch of that boring stuff out for you. We'll finish it up here in a second. Okay, now that we let that dry, we're going to put a liberal dose of Fiebings Pro Resist on it before I antique it. That'll keep the antique from soaking into the leather and just get into the ridges. Before I use a shearling pad to work on the antique with, I'm going to give it a haircut and get some of those nasty fibers off of it, clean it up a little bit. I won't use this until I'm almost done with the antique. I'll put the antique on with a dauber, which I'll show you in just a minute, and then I'll wipe it down with the paper towels, and then I'll use the shearling to get the last little bit off of the top of it and make it look pretty. Going to burn the fuzzies off the dauber so the fibers don't come loose and stick into the antique. I'll be using Fiebings antique finish in a gel. It's dark brown. Want to get it good and covered and let it set for just a second and then start wiping it off with paper towels. I'll use that wool pad to get just a little bit more off of it. Going to put a coat of tan coat, fiebings tan coat on it to seal in the antique and get way it doesn't rub off on the customer. Getting ready to line the belt with the liner. First of all, I've got to get the tape off of the back of the belt. Then I will use contact cement on both the belt and the liner. And then we'll have to let that dry for just a little bit, let it get tacky, and then I'll stick them down. Or stick them together, I guess is what I should have said. Missed just a little spot there. Need to get that fixed up. All right, ready to stick them together. As you'll be able to see, I almost cut my liner blank a little bit too short, but it worked out just right. I didn't waste any leather, put it that way. Rolled it out with my handy dandy roller to get it all stuck down good. All right, gonna start sewing this thing. I already started, went around the corner, and realized that I didn't start the camera, so that's been a theme for this one. This video is not starting the camera on time. Anyway, gonna get it sewed up right now. Getting ready to trim the liner, the excess off the liner. Just got to thinking that last time I did this, my arms and body and everything else was in the way for the angle of the camera is going to get changed here in just a minute so you can see it a little bit better what I'm doing. But anyway, going to trim it off using just a snap-off blade, box cutter from Harbor Freight, one of the cheap ones that they have at the counter. And yes, I am wearing a magnifying glass to be able to see that a little bit better on top of my glasses. Gonna get those edges all sanded and smooth and even, and then we'll move on from there to beveling and getting the edges all slicked up and dyeing them. Probably gonna dye them before I slick them though. Going to stamp the size of the belt inside on the liner. Going to punch the slot for the buckle and then the holes for the Chicago screws. And then I'll go down to the other end for the sizing holes, get them punched too. Need to check my measurements, make sure I get it exactly where I need it to be for the middle hole for the customer's size. I use a 1/4 inch oblong hole punch for the other end. I space my holes 1 inch apart, and I usually put in 7 holes just so they'll have room. If they want to lose weight, I'm hoping that they will, or if something happens and they get their winter weight on. I'm gonna bevel all the way around, front and back. I'm using a number 3 Tandy Craftool beveler. Gonna put a thin coat of oil on the back of the belt just to help the leather along. Going to dye the edges with dark brown. Then I will use Tokonole to slick the edges down with, and then I'll burnish with my machine there, and then we'll be just about through. I did several coats just to get it all good and even. Now I'm going to put on the Tokonole along the edge. I'm going to do just one side at a time, and then that way it doesn't dry out on me or anything like that. If it does dry out, I don't even know if it dries out. Anyway, I'm going to do this side, and then I'll Tokonole and burnish the other side. Forgot the video, the Chicago screws and the buckle and the keeper, but here it is.